So here is a planted avocado tree that we've had for about 12 years. And you can see that down here in the soil, I have all kinds of other trees growing. And that's just because the soil that I use, I get from my compost, and there's usually seeds in there, which take root sometime whenever they want to. So this has a whole bunch of trees, and I've already taken some out and replanted them. I've taken some out and put them in water to replant today, which I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And then there's still a whole bunch more in the soil. So what's happening is the avocado tree is older, and not getting as much energy because there's all these other trees that are taking up the space in the pot. So I am going to remove some of these, and it looks like a loquat, and maybe some other little avocados that are growing. So there's the roots. And I'll teach you how to replant these next. So what I used to do is I had my friend Papa Ams who would come over, and he would take trees that have been planted in my soil, because there's just so many. I think this is a cherry moya over here. There's just so many trees planted, but it's a very small space. And so he would take the trees and replant them elsewhere in other parts of town and at his family's home and other friends' houses. So this, I think, is just gotten too big, and I'm gonna have to either chop it or decide what to do. So the conversation was, do we leave the loquat, because it is looking really beautiful and healthy, and take out this old, it's not that old, but we've had it since we moved to San Diego, and it was something I sprouted when my teenagers were little. It's still doing good though, and we got to decide. Do we keep the avocado and take the loquat tree out, or do we take the avocado tree out and leave the loquat? Well, I already know what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and take these little baby trees. I'm not super attached to keeping every single one of them, but I'm going to just show how I would do it so that they will thrive. And something else is that you can always put them in little pots. Probably that's what I'll do, is put them in little pots like this and give them away. So basically what you're going to do is, the phrase that I remember is roots to shoots. So you want to make sure that the roots have about an even amount of root that you have to the shoots. So remember that whatever root size you have, that is what is going to be sustaining life up here on top. So you can see what I've done with this one. I usually will leave 2 leaves, And I'll leave one completely long, and then I will chop one of them. Like I'll grab my snips and make, it's like destroying the leaf basically. So you can see I've done that here. Actually on this one, I probably need to take the third leaf off. And so I have two, which I have snipped them in half. Basically what this snipping does is giving a little damage. It's like if doing a massage, you're damaging muscle tissue so that more energy comes in to heal. And the same thing here, we do damage, which tells the roots that they need to send more energy up to the top. So it just basically strengthens the plant. And this I did this about 3 days ago, and they're doing really good. So I am pretty sure that it's going to take. And then here's another one that I did. This one has a whole bunch of really new leaves, and it had a strong root system. So I didn't need to cut so many of these guys. But I did do that technique of just kind of damaging a little bit there. So for instance, this tree has, you can see a pretty good root system, but there's a whole bunch of leaves up on top, a whole bunch. So we're gonna just take these off, and I would leave just those two up top. So I'm snapping these off. You can use your snips if you want. So now we just have those two. And what I'm going to do is make a little cross cut on the bigger leaf. And then I'm going to dig a deep hole and bury that root. All right, so here's the big leaf. And what I'm going to do is just snip just like this. So now we just have that little damage there. And because I already have a lot of little trees growing in this space, and I've recently planted corn here, I am not going to plant this new tree in this section. So over here is the compost, and then that's also compost area, which I'm already grabbing the soil and moving it around the yard. So what I'm going to do with this new tree is put it in a pot. So if you're going to do a pot, you want to find one that will cover the roots. And then I like to just go a little bit above. So I'll probably want the soil to reach to about this spot where my finger is. And the root can go down. You want to leave some space at the bottom because the roots will want to spread. So ideally, if it's a tree, you're going to go bigger on the pot. And so what I'm doing is just potting something for now to give away as a gift, because I'm not going to be able to host this tree because, like I said, I just have, there's so many trees, and I have a very tiny yard, and I have about 20 trees that are that are growing here in this very small space. So this will definitely be a project for giving away.